I want to thank you for the opportunity to address you on this Veterans Day and tell you really what Veterans Day is about. For those who don't know, Veterans Day actually is the 11th day of the 11th month at 11 o'clock. That is to be commemorated, the time and date of the veterans. It has evolved over the last couple of years, actually a number of years, and really what is a veteran? Nowadays when you talk about a veteran, you hear about a veterans ball player, a veteran worker. Back in the day, before my time even, veterans were people who went off and served their country. In many cases, it was whole neighborhoods of young men in their teens who went across and fought a war. The war was to protect the world. Over the years since then, in my younger years, many times the wars were not politically popular. And when people came back from those wars, they did not receive the same type of adulation that the people who went out to fight World War I and II received. That doesn't mean they don't need the help. We need to respect the people who fought in those wars, whether it be your grandparents, your father, your mother, aunts and uncles. They need help these days. They were veterans. They were there to serve their country and to protect our freedoms that we have today. We have services available for veterans, whether it be through the VFW, the American Legion. Now, many of those have fallen by the wayside over the last couple of years because the people coming back don't want to get together. I remember a fact when my father came back from World War II. Now, this goes back a number of years. We lived up in the Park Ridge area. He was a member of the Park Ridge VFW. It was the largest veterans of a foreign war post in the United States. They had 3,000 members. They used to have parties and get-togethers, and they had a bar and a restaurant that would function just like a regular restaurant. And the veterans would get together and talk about the war and what they did. It was like the old days, stories going back and forth and what happened back in Guadalcanal, the Pacific, Germany, and the like. That type of thing has changed. People who came back from more current wars don't really want to talk about it and have not got together and celebrated the good times, if there were actually good times, at least the times to being together. So I ask you, when you come across a veteran, treat them with respect. Sometimes they need help. They may need some physical help. They may need some mental help. Things are different, but please treat all your veterans with respect. I think we owe them that much. That being said, I'd like to read a proclamation for Veterans Day, November 11th, 2020, whereas Veterans Day, November 11th, 2020, has been designated as a day of honor for the millions of American men and women who have answered the call to duty in defending the hard-won freedoms that we enjoy today. And whereas on this day we recognize and remember the unselfish acts and service of those in all wars and military actions, many of that sacrifice ended in permanent disability or death. Yet their spirit remains in the continued preservation of our freedoms and the promise of liberty, established as an example of the oppressed people of the world. And whereas we owe a great deal for those who have served in the defense of this nation and are eternally grateful, we hold every American who has answered the call to arms in our thoughts, and we take the time to remember the sacrifices that they've made. Now, therefore, I, Robert Straz, Mayor of the City of Palos Heights, do hereby ask all the residents of the City of Palos Heights to join me in the observance of Veterans Day on Monday, November 11th, 2020, and let us commemorate and honor those who served our country and give gratitude to all the members of the armed services of this country, witnessed under my signature on the second day in November 2020. Thank you, and please remember them.